Hello, Internet. Today, I'd like to cover a specific topic of Golang, which is a bit confusing, especially at the beginning when you start to use it. It's the context of Golang for calling, like, for example, an external API. Let's just see what we have here and how we are going to use it. For this test, I set up a little server. It's a little like straight up get server, so you send some API, and the only different way in this server is that we do have a delay. Okay, so when we are going to call this API, it will delay for n seconds. I done this because in this way we can actually really check and see what a context do. So let's start coding. Um, for for start, we are going to create a simple request, like simple get request to this server. Just create a request. It's going to be a http dot new request, okay, with http dot method get. We are going to pass it a URL if I don't, yeah, if I remember correctly, a URL, and we need a buffer to accumulate the response. Great. We are going to do bytes, new buffer, and we are going to pass a slice of byte, a byte. Okay, great. This request, yeah, the signature is with the arrow, so like this. Okay, nice, great. Now we need to call it. So we have a client. Client is going to be http.client, the usual stuff, just to call an API in a simple way. We have a client that do, and we are going to pass this request here. Okay, great. So this do, like, it's actually does the request. It returns the response and the error. Now, in this case, yeah, we need to handle the error because this response is a pointer to response. From this response, we are going to get the body. So if this response will be nil, it may fail. It may like break all the systems. So we actually need to test this error. So if error is not nil, okay, in this case, we're just going to return from this all, but I want to like see the actual response like this. No, the usual stuff, and then it's a new line here. Okay, great. And if we do have some response from our server, easy, we just going to read it. Okay, read all like this. Yeah, just going to, yeah, because I need to read the body. I was telling you before. It's with the body, okay, and error in this case, I'm going to ignore it because I do know it will be fine. Now, this body, it's an array of bytes, so if we want to like just see what it going to be returned, we will use it like this. We're going to pass it to a variable just to printf and body, but we need to cast it to a string. Okay, in this way we will see the actual response. Okay, now great. Okay, let's just test it out. So what do we expect? We expect to call this API and the server to respond after 2 seconds. Let me add like one little thing here, fmt.printf calling. Okay, great. Now let's call it. So we are calling the API, we are waiting 2 seconds, and we have our response. Great. Maybe it's a new line. Now, let's spice it a bit more. So, imagine we need to control our API calls because, for example, if this server takes like 10 seconds to respond. So imagine you have your API, you have your call to some external server you don't control, and you need to be able to control how many seconds you wait before canceling this call. Because if it will hang, it may hang theoretically forever, and you will only consume resources. Okay, so um, how you can do it is where the context came very handy. So we can create new request with context. Okay, and let's start to add some pieces to this. So this request with context requires a new like parameter, a context. Okay, great. Let's add it. Context background. You know, the usual suspect of all the starts, or the actual like to do. Basic the same. No. Okay. Let's uh, let's do it again. Let's call the server. Okay, it's still hanging, like nothing changed. Interesting. Okay, and here comes a little like interesting like point. If we come back to this one and take a look on the request under the hood, see the new request under the hood actually calls a new request with context. So a new request is just a simple way to call it, but we are always calling some kind of context under the hood. Now, let's start to control it. So with request, great. And now we are going to create our context. Let's call it ctx and call context with timeout. Look at this. So this one also wants the context background and some duration. For example, let's decide to cancel this API call after 2 seconds. Time.second times uh, times 2. Okay? ctx, let me add this here. And obviously we need to be able to cancel it. So the context like with timeout returns are not only the context itself but the cancel function. And how it's done in these cases usually, and it's how it has to be, it's how it is supposed to be done. We call the defer, okay, and then we call the cancel on this. So this cancel will be triggered when this timeout is come to 0. Let's check, let's test. So our API will take 10 seconds to respond to our call, but we don't want this. We want our API to cancel after 2 seconds. Let's run. And like you can see, deadline exceeded. So with context, we can easily control how we call external APIs and make sure we don't consume resources with no reason. Okay. Reason. This is an interesting topic because, for example, if we wrap this defer into the if we into the function like this, okay, we can call the function cancel inside, but we can take the context and we have the cause. We can bring inside this context, and this cause returns an error. Cause, okay, like this. So we first cancel, and then we can print this goes here like this, and with new line. Don't need this. Okay, let's test. Great. So now not only we can handle and like specify when to cut down our API calls, we can actually get the error message. So, and this is how you use the context API in Golang.